Yeah. I got a point to make off this because I was listening to Andrew. You guys talk last little bit.
Where are you tapping in from? Calgary,
Alberta.
Oh, very well. Peace from Alaska, my brother. Peace from Alaska.
Fuck yeah, we're down here in Calgary. I'm just out back in I'm at a show right now. I'm at the punk rock show. Sunday night, matinee punk rock show. All the bands that are playing tonight are between the ages of like 18 and 22. Really good bands for the age and stage that they're at. You can forgive so much stuff for younger bands. Like, they are giving it their all. They're doing it for real. So yeah, it's fucking tight. But talking about this underground,
if they have stuff, by all means, send it to me. By all means,
for sure. I added you up. But my point that I just wanted to make was that okay, so you guys are talking about like, oh, we gotta, like, I was talking to, or Andrew was live streaming about this. Words was live streaming about this the other day, and I was listening to one. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you're not going to be able to do tours in this next world that we're living in for the next, at least the four foreseeable years. We're not going to be able to do large tours. You're not going to be able to go to Europe and play underground shows and sell 50 CDs a night. It's not going to happen. We got to buckle down and do local shows with everybody, bands, acts, quote unquote, that suck, that are younger. It doesn't matter. We just got to give a stage to everyone who's willing to get up and do their shit, and just make it happen. Just make it happen. The quality doesn't matter so much as the effort, and that's the punk rock vibe. Punk rock mostly sucks. It's good if it sucks. It's better if it's not good. If it's really polished and pristine and everyone is like really together and it's well produced, that makes it worse. We just got to get down with the shit. We are living in the depths of the Kali Yuga. We are living in the depths of the worst possible time to be alive on this planet within the great year. Within 28,000 years, we are at the worst point, the very depths of the shittiest shit point. So you gotta embrace that. You gotta live in the sewer. You gotta fucking take that shit. And punk rock's able to do that, and I hope hip hop is able to do that as well, because hip hop is a great genre, and there's just so many people like Words who are spitting real rhymes and spitting real shit and talking about real life and real stuff. And the underground is where it's at, but you gotta lower your goddamn standards. And also, you got to not care about money. You got to have a real job that supports you. You can't think about, oh, I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to make all this money off of touring, or I'm going to like sell all these CDs, and I'm just going to live off my music. No, fuck that. You got to fucking just realize that you're going to have to work a shitty job and do your shitty life, and then make your music for the sake of making the music, without the sake of making the money. Money is great. Sell your CDs, sell your t-shirts. I'm not saying don't make money. I'm just saying don't count on the money. Count on your trade skill or your life outside of making money, and then everything you make from music should only be gravy.
I am so glad you tapped in, my friend. Thank you. Man, that would have been a lot to write. Second off, I'd like to mention AK Bookworm down there, all right? He owns a small bookstore in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, all right? But he's also an old school punk guy. So if your bands have music, if they have CDs, if they have that stuff, that's us talking, us communicating is creating another avenue for these kids that we've never met who make shitty music for the sake of making music, all right? And when they sell out of it, they're just going to make more of it until they get tired of making that music, and then they're going to do something else. That has to be supported. Otherwise, you end up with the shit that sucks, and it sucks for the sake of sucking. Like it's marketed as shit to make people dumber. And you don't nurture talent by not nurturing talent.
Yeah, man, you gotta rip it up and just let the local scene and let the kids do their thing, and you gotta support them even when they suck. And sometimes they don't suck, and sometimes it's great. I just saw some fucking amazing 18-year-olds rip it up. Like, they're young kids. They're literally like decades younger than me, and they just rip it up. They rip it up, and it's great. And we just, the intergenerational thing. We also have to get past the age barrier. Like, Yeah, we can do it. We can do it, and that's what the world's gonna be like, because we are entering goddamn World War fucking 4, in my opinion. World War 3, according to some people's opinion, but like we are going to a hard world for the next while, and if our cultures are going to survive, we're going to have to lower the bar and up the support at the same time.
Man, I like the way you think. Man, I am so glad we met today. So
Yeah,
let's
fucking
talk.
A, bro.
Let's talk a little bit about this show, because in the off chance that somebody is in Alberta, Canada, watching right now and they don't know what's going on tonight, they're looking for some music. Tell me where to go if I'm in Alberta right now.
You come on down to the Broken City, the Broken Shitty, down on 11th Ave, right by Les Bast. I'm just out smoking in the back of the fucking alley. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The graffiti's beautiful.
It is. It's really nice, man. Like, Calgary actually has a good graph scene. Like, look at that. Like, that's fucking intense.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that that didn't. It kind of surprises me a little bit. The further north you go, up to a certain point, like the graffiti just gets more and more intense. I mean, like starting in I mean, I guess in California, but moving north, it just becomes more complex. And then if you go out to Europe, like the further north you go in Europe, to a degree, the graffiti just gets crazier and crazier. It's just because it's allowed to nurture and just exist and get better.
Hell yeah, there's less state control when we have more areas to in the interstices between the cops. We're able to do way more. Yeah, the north, man. The north is where we're gonna have our renaissance, the Hyperborean renaissance. It's coming in.
What do you mean by that? The Hyperborean renaissance? I've never heard that. If anyone could like tap a heart or something, let me know if he's breaking up to them or if I'm breaking up, which one it is. This sucks. Yeah, go down. If you're in Calgary, like if you're in Alberta, Hyperborean, yeah, this kind of sucks. All right, Hyperborean, what is that?
Hyperborea?
Yeah.
Hyperborea is a mythical land that existed in the Atlantean times, so about 5,000 years ago. There was supposedly a civilization that existed in the Arctic Circle, and we call that Hyperborea. That came down and funded the pre-Aryan races that eventually came down through the Ural Mountains and colonized India. We're talking like 4,000 years ago, kind of thing, for a realistic stance. But at the same time, you can also talk about Hyperborea in the mythological stance, where we don't have to latch on to any historical realities. We can just take an ethical mythos and think about how the North is a unique circumstance that is able to foster a particular culture that is antithetical to the Atlantean culture. Atlantis existed 5,000 to 4,000 years ago. This imperial state that fucked up a lot of shit within Europe and the Americas circa 5,000 years ago. When that fell apart, it also reemerged in today's Anglo-American imperialist society. America, Britain, these forces that are now combating Russia. The Hyperboreans are essentially just the people that are against Russia, against all the northerners, for lack of a better term, quote unquote white people. But yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. I can't get too much into it on Instagram.com because it's Instagram.com. But
no, I appreciate it. It lets me go down more of a rabbit hole and learn more about it. So thank you. That's them coming for you. Like that's them coming for you for sharing this with us. And then it just stops. and then it just fucking stops. That's not weird. No, not at all. Not at all. Wow.
We out here.
Said, O negative blood. I'll look into this. There's a lot there. This is really interesting, and I've never heard anything about this. So I want to share. This is something I wanted to share. So the state of Alaska. Oh, cool. It's a friendly. Good. I always get weird, like when you're talking about something outside of the norm, when like random people say random things. Like, I'm glad that's your homie. High five your homie. Like, that feels good. Glad it wasn't, I don't know, an agent. But I always found it weird. So like for one time I got knocked off of an Instagram live because I said it was shortly after I said that Joe Biden looks like a deep fake that was created by people who take drug tests.
Yeah, he does. He looks like a fucking robot, man. He looks like a fucking lizard skin with robot over top. Like,
not even like a good robot.
Not even a good one.
No, but nerds who take drug tests, right?
Yeah.
Like the bureaucrats that need a job, right? Like those are the people that are making the Joe Biden robots, right? Those are the people that are like doing the Joe Biden AI. That's why it keeps stuttering. They're not creative. They don't do enough drugs. Like they're not enjoying their lives enough to really enjoy making the President Biden robot.
Yeah. It's pretty fucked, the whole Biden robot thing. I think there's something to it because I'm a big fan of Philip K. Dick.
Okay.
If you know Philip K. Dick, you ever heard of him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Philip K. Dick wrote a lot of books that ended up coming true 10 to 15 years after he wrote them. Like the scenarios were eerily, uncannily similar to what he wrote in his book. Peace, bro. And yeah, we're he has a particular book called The Simulacra, which is about a futuristic scenario where the president is a robot, essentially, where presidents in general are robots, and we are fucking there. I would be 0% surprised if Joe Biden was a plasticine fucking entity that has multiple people operating him at any given time. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. The guy can't talk fucking straight.
It's a fucking scary thing. It's a really, really scary thing. But that's also why I'm not worried. Like, fuck it. You know what? It's a computer model. What's the worst that can happen? Oh my gosh.
The worst that can happen is that the Atlanteans, the Washington D.C. / City of London axis that controls the vast majority of the Rockefeller Banking Institute between Washington and London, have this simulacra that is able to dupe the vast majority of the population within the Anglosphere into supporting nuclear fucking war with the Slavs. Like, they're able to fucking generate a consensus for dropping bombs that will obliterate 2/3 of the goddamn population on the planet. Like, I'm out here partying tonight instead of working hard and doing my shit because I'm fucking scared that if they institute a no-fly zone over Ukraine, That's gonna be it. That's gonna be fucking nukes on the ground. And if they start sending off the fucking H bombs, like I'm fucked. I live downtown. Like we're done. We're done. Like they're gonna.
Brother, give me so let me this is the world I live in, all right? And this is me, right? I don't believe that nuclear weapons are real. And here is the reason. Here's the reason. So allegedly, like we can't live in large swaths of Nevada because of all the nuclear testing that was done there, right? However, immediately after dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, people immediately rebuilt in those cities. To this day, you can go to the mural, or not to the mural, to the monument where the bomb landed, lay your flowers, and walk away and feel terrible about it. So, and then you talk about the demise of and the fall of the Soviet Union. When you had all of these weapons, whether it was helicopters, whether it was AK-47s, and then random other nuclear superpowers, there hasn't been a single bad guy that's gotten their hands on one and let one go. And there have been a lot of bad guys with access to a lot of crazy shit. In fact, they're just rich people who believe crazy shit. Let's say random mega billionaire decides, fuck it, I'm a I'm a Bond villain now. Give me that nuclear weapon. He probably still got a pinball machine made by the doctor from Back to the Future. Like, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because if you spend your time worrying about something that either A, is going to fuck up everything as you know it and your future, and we get to live in the scary apocalypse movie that we think we're going to be going to, or you can just say, fuck it, they're not real, and move on. Because there is more evidence for Hillary Clinton killing JFK Jr. than there is for nuclear weapons. Really think about that. Really think about that.
Man, I hope you're fucking right. I hope you're fucking right.
If I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. If I'm wrong, you taught me something that I need to research and learn about, and I feel better about that. And hopefully I'm giving you some information that will make you feel better about making you're going to take this night of the end of what you thought was the end of the world. You're going to have some of the most fun you're ever going to have, because everyone else is afraid of the end of the world, but not you. You're sleeping fucking comfy tonight.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I'm sleeping comfy regardless, because my soul is right with the divinity. But yeah.
So by the way, Twistello is a rapper who's in our chat right now. He's from Buffalo, New York. He's staying out on. Last we talked, he was out on the West Coast. He's a touring rapper. He's all over the place, and he was mentioning his friends on in the military that worked on them, and the idea of mutually assured destruction. And I go back to idea of mutually assured destructions. Really only works if only two people have them. We're living in a world of real serious theocracies where crazy people have lots of crazy resources. And if one of them wanted to just say, fuck it, just for the sake of saying fuck it, they could have done that 100 times over since the fall of the Soviet Union. All right, since all the bombs went everywhere after the second project or Operation Paperclip, right? The end of the Soviet Union means that you have a new draft of those Soviet scientists, and either they go to the United States, or they stick around in the area where their wife's family is, and they got to do the dad shit because this is where their kids are. Those guys would be happy to make an extra 50 or 60 grand selling super secrets to a crazy person with 50 or 60 grand. So I mean, really, there's been so much shit through time, like through time immemorial. You were talking about artificial presidents. Okay, perfect. Artificial nuclear weapons, because if you're going to have fake nuclear weapons, you're going to have people who really think they're fixing them. Because people are going to eventually ask, who are the people that are working on these things? Someone's going to have to say, it's us. And if you have some regular schmoes who are working on fake science that are doing it, I've met friends that have done nuclear security, right? And I'm a fucking idiot, right? And these people shouldn't know me if they are hanging out with the stuff that can destroy the universe as we know it, right? Those guys shouldn't be around anywhere near me because I'm a fucking dummy, all right? And dummies hang around dummies. They don't get to hang out with nuclear weapons on a weekday.
Yeah, man, I fucking hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope it's all fake, man. I really do. But
the other thing is the aliens, the alien aspect of nuclear weapons. So hold on a second. There have also been reports from these nuclear weapon sites in different states of the United States, and my memory's a little bit fuzzy on it, but different nuclear weapon sites have had all of their weapon systems turned off by stuff hanging out in the sky, right? And this has happened. This has happened, over the course of the last 60 years. It's documented as happening. These nuclear weapons were going offline. So maybe that's why the crazy people who have access to crazy resources haven't been able to set them up. It's either A, the aliens, or B, they're fake. And here's the really great thing about living in a world where truth and science are subjective. You get to make your pick.
Yep. Yep, you do. You get to make your bid, but at the same time, like, shit, man. I don't know what's going on in Russia. What if Russia really has some tech that we don't know about? I don't know. It's fucking scary shit, man.
So I understand that part. I understand that fear of secret tech. But what we're also seeing is that the Soviet tanks are having to get pulled out by Ukrainian tanks. So if their tank or Ukrainian tractors are having to pull out Russian broken down Russian tanks, right? Like that's happening. If that is happening, do you really think they have super duper hypersonic weapons? And if so, that they have enough and have mastered into a tech. By the way, first off, they're not going to hit the United States first. They're going to fuck up Europe. We're safe for a little bit. But if you were in Frankfurt, Germany, I'd be a little bit more nervous. However, I'll say that like we've seen that like their actual regular weaponry isn't working as well as we thought or they thought it was going to work. I wouldn't worry too much about their long-range missile capabilities. Yeah, I wouldn't. And again, I was, I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't worry too much.
Well, I ain't worrying at all. I'm not worrying at all because I can't affect that shit. I can't affect whether Russia presses the nuke bomb or whether Biden goes in full deep on this shit or whatnot. It's out of my control. So I'm just trying to still live my life and whatnot. But fuck.
Dude, you have a great night tonight in Alberta, Canada, listening to some great punk bands. You can hang out, have some, have a great fucking Shirley Temple. Instead of Sprite, have some Red Bull in there, some real anthems. I don't know about you, but I've got kids, so my idea of a crazy night has changed a little bit.
Yeah, man. Okay, well, buddy, it was really nice to meet you. I already added your profile, but yeah, I'll hit you up in the future. I'm gonna dip back into this show here, but yeah, fucking amen.
This is gonna be great. Have a great night with your friends. Enjoy the music. Enjoy some punk. And take care, my friend. Peace.
Take care, buddy. Have a good night.
All right. So this has been a really cool time on Instagram. We had a really I didn't see this going this way. These are always like the Sunday afternoon sit downs are always very, very cool. You always talk to like some very, very cool people about some very, very cool subjects. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to dip out. I think I'm going to hang out for a little bit. I still got some water to drink. I'm out of coffee, but So if anyone wants to tap in and talk about Constantly Consciously, if you want to talk about what's going on in Amsterdam right now, I'd love to learn a little bit. I might want to pull off here for a minute or so, so I can see where Bitcoin. Fuck it. We're as good as we're gonna be, and it'll let me know when it's at 20%. So, I'm curious. So, like I mentioned previously, that I grew up in Germany. I'd gone to Amsterdam. I'd gone to like my favorite place to eat in Amsterdam was the Falafel King, not far from Dam Square. Um, yeah, very, very cool place. Checked out Fat Beats. Fat Beats is, I don't know if that's still there, but Fat Beats was dope. Like the fact that it existed in Amsterdam was cool. Now I live in Alaska where cannabis is legal. You could just go to the store and you can buy your cartridge or, oh, you're in the UK. You're in the UK. Fuck. Oh, that's dope too. You can just go to the store and buy weed. Can you do that in the UK? Like, where are they? And so another thing that we have in the States is something called Delta 8, which is something that people who really kind of read between the lines on um, like what is legal and what isn't legal for weed figured out was that if you can extract a little bit at a time, but you can extract THC from hemp. There's if you grow a lot of it, you'll have a little bit of THC left over. And so they would extract the THC and they'd put it in cartridges and these, um, you know, where are you? You have a delivery service? That's cool. Like we'll get there in Alaska. I'm sure it'll happen. But where I live, it's not. It's man. I think we have a Lyft or a Uber. Like so, we're not going to get weed delivery where I live anytime soon. Um, but I don't know exactly like what is legal in the UK. So where in Germany? Where are you? So in Germany, so I lived in Frankfurt. I lived in Fulda, which was a town that was on the Fulda Gap, which was expected to be like the first line of defense if Russia ever invaded from East Germany. They would have attacked Fulda first. I think that was the expectation, but it never happened. Right. So you had a billions and billions of dollar weapons buildup for stuff that never came, right? And right now, it's the same thing, right? It's just shortening the supply chains of things in order to kind of put a squeeze on people, create a profit. Um, man, that's cool. That's man, that's you can gamble at 12 in Niagara, Canada, maybe like 18, but yeah, that's cool. All right, shout out to Canada. Um, but in the like in states where cannabis isn't legal, right? So you have maybe half the states where it's not legal. They have something called Delta 8, and Delta 8 is like I was talking about earlier, is that extracted THC oil. And the same way, like you have the cartridges here. This is sort of hash oil, and then flour. Like you can get crazy quality flour. Like the flour quality is oh yeah, they're absolutely 100% on the same team. You can get some really high quality stuff um, now, which is I think as it should be. I think that you should allow markets to develop. The more you let markets develop, I think that you're going to find people who are better and better at things. For example, any town that has a brewery, right? Any town that brewery wasn't there before that, they had to get their beer from some place that wasn't local. So here we have the Kenai River Brewery, and um, before that, you had to get whatever beer from the store that you were getting. It was coming from Anchorage, and maybe Anchorage had a brewery, but before that, it was Budweiser or Coors or whatever. It was like 5 beers, right? But because people didn't have that, or they were sick of whatever they were getting from someplace else, they developed methods to do it themselves and do it better and create a new quality. I had a soda. Like I don't drink a lot of soda. So I today I bought one from 49th Brewery. It's their like Frontier Cola. And it was, like a $6 6 pack or a $6 4 pack or some shit. I don't remember what it was. It was but it was more than, like a 6 pack of whatever silly mainstream pop that you're going to drink that you don't have any real respect for. Like you actually like you respect yourself less if you drink a cola. At least in me, like speaking for myself, if I'm drinking a Coca-Cola, I'm thinking, man, and again, just me, like I can't believe I let myself down to drink this bullshit. Um, but if I'm drinking the nice semi-locally brewed stuff, right, I feel a little bit like I'm drinking shit, but I'm drinking good shit. If you're gonna drink shit, drink good shit. If you know you're gonna be doing something you shouldn't be doing, at least be doing like good shit. We know graham crackers aren't good for you. Like, at least eat good graham crackers. All right, so if you're in Canada, or you're in a place that doesn't have like years of expertise in cannabis, here's what I'm going to tell. I'm going to give you a free education on the cannabis oil cartridges. Right? You want the first off, you want the ones that look like this. These are all glass. All right, and that sounds mildly dangerous, right? It's all glass. You could die. Well, you could get hit by a fucking bus, right? Um, you want these rather than the ones with the separate, with like a different tip. Let's say a tip that looks like this, right? You don't want those. Those you do not want, because they have a metal coil, right? And these things are already made by like the lowest bidder, using the lowest standards and using like the lowest quality anything. These have a ceramic coil, so at least you're not sucking off metals, right? You're not sucking like whatever they were using to coat that little shitty, poorly made metal. You're not huffing your stuff off of that, right? At least you're huffing off of, like glass. So there you go. There's a life lesson. If you ever find yourself on the other side of the pond, whether it's in Canada, Niagara, Canada, where you can win or lose some money playing poker, or on the other side of the border in New York, which also has legal cannabis, go with those cartridges. All right. Um, yeah. But another thing to remember, if you don't have to be, um, you know, um, like the cartridges are good for people who are trying to be discreet, right? If you're about to walk in the store, or whatever it is, for whatever reason you want to be discreet about your smoking cannabis, you don't want to smell like weed. Otherwise, I say just go ahead and smell like weed. All right. That's how you go. Just fuck it. You're an adult, right? Deal with the consequences of smelling like weed when you go into the store. If you're going to do it, do it. All right. If you're worried about the end of the world, doesn't matter anyway. The people that love you are going to love you anyway, whether or not you smell like a little bit of weed. All right. Just don't be, you know what? Maybe the answer is don't be an asshole when you smell like weed. That's the answer. Don't be an asshole when you smell like weed. Um, but as far as a matter of discretion, if you don't have to be discreet, don't be discreet. Smoke your weed. All right. But yeah, just remember that. Like, so these cartridges, they're, and by the way, they break, right? The reason that the cap came off of this particular one, is because it's multiple pieces, right? So that was screwed on to something else and it fell, and that's happened to me a few times, right? This falling and breaking has never happened to me with the all glass. So it's also a more accurate taste, right, of what the extract is supposed to taste like if you're getting like good shit. If you're getting it from the farmer, or you're paying a premium price. If you're paying a premium price for an oil, then you want to make sure that the cart is um, you're getting the most out of it, right? You're not getting like some shitty coils, right? Like if it's a great like whiskey, like a really nice whiskey, and it's in a dirty cup, it kind of fucks up the experience. Or it's in a plastic cup. That's a better example. It's in a plastic cup. All right. It's a good whiskey in a plastic cup, and you still have that fucking taste of the plastic there. Right. There's a reason I'm drinking out of glass right now. Like it's it's cleaner. You don't have that feeling of the plastics and all the extra shit that goes along with it. But I think that's probably a good accurate depiction uh if you've got like a good oil. If you don't give a fuck, you don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. Um, so yeah, that's my feeling, is that the ceramics are dope. I'm a fan of the ceramics, and by the way, if you get a battery, because these things are super easy to lose. Whew, I've lost a lot of these getting like the cool black one. All right. But just like everything else, like there's a lot of shit in my house, tables that are like darker colors, carpets, stuff like that. I think I'm less inclined to lose this one. Oh yeah. Oh man, so I've got perfect example, right? So it's fallen, right? But I don't know if you can see that like the grinder, like the teeth of the grinder have actually like fallen and broken out. So it's like you can't use it anymore. It's a useless grinder. I have a broken useless grinder in my house. I This is why my shit is full of clutter because I have an old. It's a perfect example, right? Um, yeah, apparently Santa Cruz makes some good grinders. I have yet to purchase one. If you know of um, a good grinder from Europe, because while it may not be legal, I'm imagining that it's not very hard to get a hold of some decent cannabis in the UK. There's a lot of drill music that comes out of there, so I'm imagining that you have some pretty decent access to like to cannabis. Not to say that all of the music coming out of the drill genre is fuck it, I'll say it. It's all there's a lot of weed. These guys are smoking a lot of weed. And they have to have that high grade stinky weed that you get as an artist has to come from local, right? Like cuz that shit's not coming on a boat from South America. So if you come across like a good grinder, then especially if it's made in Europe, like good German steel. There's somebody out there that makes a dope, like European engineered grinder, right? And they figured out Mendo Mulcher or Cannabis Hardware. Who makes that? Um, those both sound those both sound really really dope. Mendo Mulcher, I like it. That's super rad. Um, so me personally, like I just like I like to break up the weed with my fingers and just throw it in my piece. By the way, this is a really cool Alaskan pipe blower, cosmic, super dope. I think he's in Anchorage now. Um, but yeah, if you come across there's somebody that makes one, right? If people are making like cool knives with Japanese steel, those are the brands. Mendo. Okay. Um. Okay. Are they okay? Sounds dope. I'll look into it, man. Thank you so much. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I never really got into like I had my cool little Death Star one that is apparently a piece of shit. But I break them up. Oh shit. $100 for a grinder? If you have it better whistle a tune. Like $100 for a grinder, you push a button and it works. Right? And it whistles a tune. I don't know what tune it whistles, but it whistles a tune while it's grinding. Or, you know what, you can press a button or download different grinding patterns that are going to whistle different tunes. Maybe you're like, fuck it, I want to listen to some Katy Perry while my weed is grinding. You push the button and you get your weed grinded to Katy Perry. Fuck it. You know what? That downloadable content should exist for $100 grinder. Jesus. Whew. The metal has got to be fucking dope. But I'm also like, man, that thing's never gonna break. If you're spending $100 on a grinder, the metal, like, because that's a piece of shit. I spent like $30 on that. So like three times that I'm imagining is gonna be better quality metal. They're gonna be sharper blades. You probably have a lifetime warranty. Um, and if it's engineered for the quality I am looking for. But here's my question is like if you're man, I don't know how many folks that are like that are buying shit that's none of my business. If you require $100 grinder, you are not buying your weed from a dispensary. You know a farmer, as it should be. All right, like as it should be. Like you've got a guy and he's a great grower and he's got the craziest. You've got a guy and he fucking hooks you up. The Mendo mulcher sounds like the greatest, cannabis hardware engineering. I'm gonna go with cannabis hardware. Those sound like, okay, so we've got a cultivator up here called Hardworking Hippies. That sounds like the people that would make the shit that you'd smoke with hardworking hippies. Anyway, um, yeah, those are like the same sort of like math nerds I know that grow weed, you know, figured out the absolute best way to grow the best quality weed, not even necessarily smoke it themselves, but just figured out the mathematics of developing the best way to grow flower, the best way to circulate water. Um, yeah, as it should be. Um, all right. I will check out the cannabis hardware vapes. Were you here for the conversation about metal coils versus ceramic coils? Because if you got a second to tap in for that, please let me know. Um, I was also a fan of shatter batter, and so if you have a product similar to that that you know, please let me know. Um, for those of you who aren't familiar with shatter batter, it is a product that will turn your concentrate into a vapable formula, and that is it's available at a lot of vape shops around the country. But even then, we're talking about going back to ceramic coils versus metal coils, and it becomes a thing that like once you look into and once you start really putting some thought into, it hurts going back. Like it hurts thinking about going back to metal coils, even with the price difference. Like I've invested a lot of time and energy into like metal coils and not even thinking about it. Like it would never vaping off of metal coils had never been a thing that I thought about. But when it was something that was brought to my attention, it was like, oh, well, there's a thing. There's something now to think about. I didn't think about it before, but now I'm thinking about it. All right, so folks, it is 4:52 my time. I've got to go run around, probably do some dad shit, do some other shit, hang out with my dogs, cook some dinner, hang out with my person, or do some shit. I've got like not here shit that I've got to knock out. But if any of you ever want to pop in, talk about anything, by all means, when I do these lives, tap in, tap in and say hello. Whatever crazy shit you got to say your crazy shit, because it is so much easier to live in a world where if you think that there's a crazy guy that has a weapon that can kill everybody, if you spend all your time thinking about, like what's the worst shit that can happen, it's much easier to think like, okay, well, this is how history is on my side, right? It takes a lot of the sting out of that. All right. So believe what you want to believe. If this is, before I dip out, believe what you want to believe. Happy people don't shoot up movie theaters. Okay. And yeah, truth and history and science, it's all subjective and perspective, right? So whatever you want to believe, you get to believe that thing, right? No one can tell you any different. If you want to believe that fucking say Justin Trudeau is actually like he's legitimately a draconian lizard person who came to us through an interdimensional Stargate, feel free, knock yourself out. If you want to believe that he is the son of Fidel Castro, feel free to believe it. Does not bother me. All right. These are your ideas. And if they make your day better, go with it. Right. Because I'm not going to make your day any better telling you that it's bullshit. Right. I'm not going to make your day any better saying this is why you're wrong. Because I don't know. And if I did, I don't even know that I'd want to ruin it for you. Like, you get to have your ideas, you get to have your beliefs, the things that help you sleep better at night. And if I'm offering you an idea that'll help you sleep better at night, you can choose whether to use that or not, and just press on. All right. So yeah, I got shit to do. All the peace, all the love from Alaska. Tap in anytime you see me live. All of you. Um, thank you very much. Oh, and if you come across good music, good local music, has to be from where you are. Share it with me. All right, I'll do the same. Peace.